On today's episode, Eddie and Webby reveal the coordinates to the lost city of Atlantis. This is the Eddie and Webby podcast.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Steven Spielberg, but I'm actually kind of busy right now. Is it okay if I give you a call back later? All right, I'll talk to you later, Steven Spielberg. Bye. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 10th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 10. I'd say this calls for a double high five.
Yeah.
Wow, now talk about intense.
I can't believe, man, this has been a goal. We made it to 10. People have been demanding our podcast enough to where we made it to episode number 10. This is a momentous occasion for us, and we're super excited to be spending our time with you today.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it. If somebody would have asked me 2 months ago if we would be at episode 10 at this point in time, I would not have believed it, not for 1 second. Yeah, this is a huge milestone, episode 10. What?
You see, Webby? So when we first started, Webby was a little hesitant to start it off, and we did it, and now we found success with it, and we're going to keep on doing. But today we want to celebrate episode 10. We have a great episode for you guys today. You know the drill. We talk beer, we talk tech, and we talk pickleball.
Oh,
but before we do that, we have one of my favorite segments. What's going on in Twitter, Webby?
Yes, Twitter. Twitter has just been off the hook lately. I mean, after 9 podcasts, people, just millions and millions of comments daily. And I'm just going to pick a couple random ones that people have done recently. And Jack is joining us early on this episode. Not sure if you saw that.
Hey, Jack. Here, chip.
All right, so I'm on Twitter right now. We've got a comment here from Jim Carey Fisher. The sneak peek of your new music video was amazing. I can't wait to see the rest. Oh, nice.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
But I wondered if people had been seeing the sneak peek. It's cool to get comments about it. All right, we've got another comment here from Obi-Wan Can Go Pee. He says, so now Eddie and Webby are ripping off Weird Al Yankovic, and quite horribly, I might add. Why? Just why?
I mean, Weird Al, he definitely did start the trend for parodies, but he doesn't own the rights to parodies.
Right, and I don't think he was the first one to ever do a parody, but right. I will admit, Weird Al I would consider him a hero of mine, like a childhood hero from a young age. He had a very big influence on me. Like they say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So, but anyway, yeah. I still appreciate the feedback, and thank you for the comment. Let's do one more Twitter comment here. Here's one from Harley Colin Quinn. Why does Webby always say ziggy zaggy ziggy zaggy oi 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 before you guys chug beer? That's a really good question.
Very good question.
So the first time I had ever heard that is, do you remember The Man Show, the show that Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla did when we were in high school?
Oh, yeah. I love that show.
I absolutely loved that show. And every episode, they would do a portion where they would all chug a beer, and they would do the ziggy zuggy oi 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 thing. And I looked it up recently, and it comes from a German song, and it's just a song about health, happiness, and getting drunk, I think, pretty much.
Cool.
So that's the history of that. Thanks for that comment. That was a great question.
Yeah, really good question. We appreciate the questions. If you guys have any more questions, you can always throw them in Twitter. And there's actually one other method I want to talk about today. So for those of you that are listening on our audio-only podcasts, there's an app called Anchor. Anchor is what we use to broadcast our podcast to over 9 different places where you can listen to podcasts. And if you download the Anchor app on your iOS device or Android, you can actually look up Eddie and Webby and leave us a voice message through the app itself. So I encourage you guys, if you have questions, feedback, there's a beer you want to recommend, download the Anchor app, find our podcast on the app, and leave us a voice message. If it's good, it's very likely that we'll actually play it in our future podcasts. So check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely leave us some messages. And like you said, very good chance it'll be played on a podcast.
Yeah. All right. So what do you say we jump into beer, Webby?
Yeah, don't mind if I do. I love talking about beer.
And what beer are we going to be reviewing today?
Well, as a matter of fact, I have a beer with me as we speak, and today the beer is from Cigar City Brewing, and it is called Maduro Brown Ale. Yeah, I'm very excited to try this beer. We did drink one from Cigar City Brewing already in a previous episode, but I have never tried this one. I'm very excited to try it.
Yeah, usually before we pour, I talk about the brewery and whatnot. But in episode 5, which I'm going to throw a link to up here in this area, we actually reviewed High Life from Cigar City. We talked about the brewery. So if you want to learn more about the brewery, check it out. So we're not going to do it before we pour today. We're actually just going to jump into pouring the beer and talk about it as we are pouring. So let's crack these cans and get it going.
Let's do it.
As Webby mentioned, this is called Maduro from Cigar City Brewing out of Tampa. Here is what Cigar City describes their beer on according to their website. Maduro is a Northern English-style brown ale with some American affections. Maduro is higher in alcohol than the common English brown ale and features flaked oats in the malt bill, which imparts a silky body and works to mesh the roasted, toasted, and chocolate components together in Maduro's complex malt profile. The end result is a remarkably full-flavored, yet approachable brown ale that pairs well with mild to medium cigars. Oh, I didn't know we had to have cigars for this episode, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah. This beer falls under BJCP category 19C, which is American Brown Ale. And actually, the BJCP, for every one of their categories, they actually have specific commercial styles that they say are pretty much good equivalents of that style. And this beer specifically was identified by the BJCP to fully represent this style, which was interesting. Has an ABV of 5.5% and 25 IBUs. So it's going to be less hoppy of a beer. Obviously, it's going to be more geared towards the chocolate and full flavor brown ale style notes. We start off with the appearance. Well, it's a brown ale, and it definitely lives up to its name.
Yeah, it looks very brown, surprisingly. Yeah. Surprisingly brown for a brown ale.
I can't even believe how brown the brown ale is.
Who would have thought a brown ale would be so brown? I mean...
That's definitely a dark brown for sure. But
yeah, I cannot see through it at all. I'm holding it up to the light in my basement, and I don't think I can see through it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly, but very, very slightly.
Interestingly enough, I had zero head when I poured as well, but I don't know about you.
Yeah, very minimal head.
Yeah. Now we get into the aroma. Give it some sniffy sniffersons here. Give it a good old sniff.
Let me wave it up here. Let me waft a little bit of wafting.
I feel like I should have pulled this out of the fridge a little bit sooner to let it warm up because I'm definitely getting some like toasty chocolatey notes, but it's not as fragrant as I would have hoped it would have been.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a little stronger in aroma, but it's got a nice little smell to it. Nice little scent. Nice little aroma.
Yeah. I could see what they say about this, pairing really well with a nice mild to medium cigar.
And I'm sorry if I wasn't paying attention, but did I see that it had toffee flavoring in there or something about toffee?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get toffee. It's not... They didn't add any toffee flavor to this beer. The toffee and chocolate and roasted flavors are going to come from the malts themselves. Depending on how long they roast them for, will give you a lot of that dark color and a lot of those dark aromas, which is what you're getting a lot of here.
Yeah. But yeah, I was expecting a stronger aroma from this, so I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't smell stronger.
I assume this beer should be served a little bit warmer than what I'm drinking it at right now, so it'll probably become more fragrant as it warms up.
Yeah, and I feel like I have heard that a lot, that the darker beers tend to be a little better, not super cold, a little closer to room temperature almost.
Yeah, you want them typically in the 50-degree and up range.
Why is that?
Just because, you get more of the specific flavors and aromas from a brown ale, the warmer it gets. where when it's really cold, it doesn't come out as much.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a trend been going on here at my house during the beer section. That's when the cats like to show up.
Hey, kitty cat, come here, chip, 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 chip. Yeah. All right, why don't we jump into the flavor?
Oh,
Give it
yeah,
some
let's
sips.
do it. Let's do it.
Oh, man. There's a lot going on with this flavor. I tell you, the first thing that I picked up in the flavor was the toffee that you mentioned. It immediately stuck out to me.
Yeah, I'm also getting a good hint of coffee flavoring on mine.
Yep.
On my end.
Yeah, I mean, typically with these, you're going to get roasted coffee, chocolate, toffee, caramel, a lot of those dark, sweet, roasty kind of flavors to it, which is definitely coming through in this beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm liking that, man. You know, I was expecting this to be a little bit more harsh of a roasty kind of flavor, and it's not. It's very smooth. It's very well balanced.
Yeah, surprisingly smooth. And I am really liking what I'm tasting.
Yeah, me too. This is a real good tasting beer. Yeah, I'm surprised though. I'm definitely getting a lot of that caramel too that they mentioned. It seems like the more it's warming up, the more kind of caramely sweetness I'm getting out of it.
Yeah. But again, just like the aroma, the flavor isn't quite as strong as I was expecting.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that also has to do with the alcohol content and the fact that this is more of a medium-bodied beer. It's only 5.5% alcohol, where a lot of the darker beers that you probably drink, some of the stouts are probably more on the higher end. And so, you know, this being a brown ale, it's going to be a little bit less alcohol, and it's going to be a little bit more mild on the overwhelmingly roast flavor that you get in some of those higher end stouts.
Yeah, I am definitely enjoying it. I would say, like, if I was in the mood for a stout, but not a heavy stout, this would be a great choice.
Yeah, I agree. Very nice flavor.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about the mouthfeel already. It's definitely medium body. It's, you know, I was expecting this to be a little bit more full bodied than it is, but it's medium body. It's not overly carbonated. It does have a little bit of that kind of silkiness from the oats. You can definitely get that in the mouthfeel, but it's just, there's nothing overbearing about this beer at all.
Yeah. But if I was craving a strong flavored stout, I probably would not go for this one. There's other things that I would definitely choose over this. But like I was saying before, if I wanted something a little lighter, but I was in the mood for a darker type beer, this is a good choice.
Yeah. Very happy with it. Overall impressions, I know we touched a lot about it here already, but I like it. I think this is a great beer. It definitely, if I'm looking for a stout, this isn't going to do it for me. Right. If I want a stout, I want a stout. Mm-hmm. This definitely falls into that brown ale category, where I'm looking for something that's a little bit less roasty, but still has some good flavors to it. And I would definitely choose this beer again if I was in the mood for it.
Yeah, definitely. If I was in a brown ale mood, this would absolutely be something I would go for if I saw it as an option.
As we always do at this time, we decide whether or not we are going to chug, and I think it's my turn this time, isn't it?
It is your turn, and I feel like you have a tough choice this time.
Yeah, I do. You know, we do. We always talk about how a lot of times we wish that we had a beer to sip on for the rest of the show. But no, I want to chug this.
Oh, man, this is going to be the thickest one we've chugged so far.
Well, we can do it.
Ziggy zuggy, ziggy zuggy, oi, oi, oi. 3, 2, 1, go. I do believe I'm the winner on that one.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a late start, but you definitely won. That was actually pretty easy going down, surprisingly.
Yeah, very surprising how easy that was to chug.
Yep. And if you guys have a beer that you would like for us to review, please throw it in the comments below. If you're one of our YouTube watchers, if you guys are listening audio only, download the Anchor podcast, leave us a voicemail with the beer that you'd like, and it's possible that we'll actually play it on a podcast if you do.
Now, I say, before we get to the next segment, because this is episode 10, in episode 5, we did a contest to win an Eddie and Webby t-shirt. So this is episode 10. 2 times 5, I feel like we need a prize that has twice the amount of fabric. So
I agree.
So for our historic milestone episode number 10, today our contest winner is going to get an Eddie and Webby hoodie, just like the one I'm wearing. Oh, yeah.
No way. We're giving away one of those, Webby? No way.
And this is not just a hoodie. It's a zip-up hoodie. It's got the logo on the front. And if I turn around here, hopefully I've got enough cable on the headphones here. But if you can see that, we got the logo on the back.
Nice. I can't believe we're giving one of those away. Jeez.
This is a pretty good prize, if I don't say so myself.
I agree. And you guys all know what the prize is. Now let's talk about what the contest is.
Yes.
There's going to be 2 ways for you to enter this contest. And way number 1 is going to be for our YouTube audience. And what we want you to do is, number 1, you have to be a subscriber. And number 2, throw in the comments below your favorite beer and why it's your favorite beer, or maybe a memory around that particular beer. So if you do that, you're going to be entered into the contest that we're going to be drawing from in episode 12 of our podcast series.
Yep, so you've got a little bit of time, but you want to get those in as soon as you can to make sure that the comment shows up before episode 12. That way, when episode 12 comes, you'll be eligible for the drawing, and we will pull a name out of a hat or whatever method we decide to do live during the podcast.
That's right. So that's number 1. For our podcast audio-only listeners, there's a way that you can enter this contest as well. We had mentioned it a couple times. Download the Anchor app, leave us a voice message through the app, and tell us what your favorite beer is and why, or a special memory you have about that beer. And we'll actually play that on the air as well, and you'll be entered for the drawing as well for the Eddie and Webby hoodie.
Nice. So let me see if I got this straight. If you're a YouTube viewer, you leave a comment in the comment section below. If you're an audio listener, you download the Anchor app and leave us a voice message. It's just as easy as that. Wow.
It's that simple. And we'll be drawing it in episode 12. So 10 days from when this episode airs, that will be the end of the submissions. So you got 10 days, folks. Get them in there, and we'd love to hear from you.
I might submit a submission because, I mean, look at this is a sweet hoodie. I could use another hoodie.
So what are we talking about next, Webby?
So next is our technology segment. And yes, it's going to be a little bit different today because today is going to be kind of a rant. I'm going to rant about something in the technology world that's been bothering me a lot lately. It's been bothering a lot of people lately, and it has to do with Sony, specifically the Sony PlayStation company. And the reason I'm complaining about them is recently the game Fortnite, which is a super popular game that both of us love and a lot of people around the world love, it recently got released on the Nintendo Switch system. So I was super excited to be able to play it portably on the Switch, and I've spent a lot of time building up my profile, my character, my account on the PlayStation. So what I figured I would do, because I can log into my Epic Games account on a PC or a mobile device, I figured I would just go ahead and log right into that account on the Nintendo Switch. But I got a nice little message saying that there is a company out there that is preventing me from using this account because I had already logged into this account on a different console. Well, it turns out that this company in question is Sony.
What?
And yeah. Yep. So Sony put the kibosh on it. And Sony has been known pretty much for many, many years to not be one to cooperate when it comes to cross-platform of any kind. Not even just in the video game world. Back, I don't know if you remember the Betamax versus VHS wars. The VHS company allowed other companies to manufacture VHS tapes. Sony had Betamax, and only Sony was allowed to make Betamax tapes. And Betamax died. And here we are now with the Sony PlayStation, and every other system, every other console, every other way of playing video games supports cross-platform play. But Sony does not.
Why do you think that Sony has chosen to go down that path?
Things that I've heard are that they fear it'll hurt sales, and currently Sony is the dominant company when it comes to consoles, and I guess they feel that they won't be the dominant company or something, but I'm not buying it. If you have a Fortnite account, you can currently play cross-platform between the Nintendo Switch, PC, mobile, and Xbox. So both Xbox and Nintendo allow cross-platform play. The only one that won't cooperate is Sony. They'll allow PC and mobile to do cross-platform play, but when it comes to the other consoles like Nintendo and Microsoft, not happening.
So is Fortnite kind of the first game that has really supported cross-platform play that's become very popular?
So it's not. There are many other games like Minecraft, Rocket League, just to name a couple of the most popular. Those are pretty much in the exact same situation. But Fortnite, I think, is the game that's causing the most uproar. And I think it might actually cause Sony to maybe open their eyes and change their ways because they've gotten a huge backlash because of it. And I think the reason Fortnite is like making so much of a big deal compared to the other games is people have spent a lot of time and money building up their account, their Epic Games account. It costs a lot of money if you want to buy the V-Bucks, or it takes a lot of time and doing challenges to earn V-Bucks in order to unlock different character skins, to unlock different accessories and things like that. And if you like, I know people online that I've chatted with have spent hundreds of dollars on this game because they like it so much and they want to get the latest and greatest looking accessories. Even though none of it helps you in the game at all, it's just cool looking, and people like that kind of thing. But people have spent so much time and money on this game, and then to find out that they can't use the account on their Nintendo Switch that they could on every other console, or on the Xbox also, if somebody started on PlayStation and then ended up getting an Xbox One, or has a friend that has an Xbox One that they want to play on with their own account, it can't happen because of Sony.
You know, during your rant, I actually went online real quick and I checked it out. And I found a quote from former president of Sony Online Entertainment, John Smedley.
Oh, really? What does that quote say?
He basically says it was all about money. Here I quote, "When I was at Sony, the stated reason internally was money. They didn't like someone buying something on an Xbox and it being used on a PlayStation. Simple as that. Dumb reason, but there it is." Hey, here, you heard it from a former president. It's all about the money. Follow the money.
All about the money, money, money.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the rant. Hopefully that'll change because I think it would be nice. Yeah. And I think Sony probably should realize that they're only hurting their customers. It's not really, I don't see how it's going to help sales to keep, to not allow cross-platform.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to me. And so far, Sony has only given a half-ass response to it. And I really do think that something might come of this because pretty much everything Sony posts on social media has people complaining about how they screwed over the people that play Fortnite because pretty much they're getting tons of bad publicity over this. So I really have a feeling that things might change. I mean, if things are ever going to change, now is the time that it's going to happen. So I think we have Fortnite to thank for Sony possibly finally allowing cross-platform play between the other gaming consoles.
Shame on you, Sony. Shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. It's funny. I'm actually looking at the Sony logo on my A7 III as I'm saying "shame on you, Sony." That's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing the shame symbol to my Sony camera.
Yes. Yeah.
As I see my Sony PlayStation in the background, there's the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 all in view. I love Sony's stuff, but wake up, Sony. Wake up.
Wake up, you sons of wake up.
Wake up. Why don't you put on a little makeup?
Well, that was a great conversation. Thank you for bringing that up, Webby. Now it's time to talk about a topic that I know I love to talk about, and I know you love to talk about as well, and that is... Pickleball. Yes, that is pickleball. In Burp Talk, folks, you heard it first. And we have a good topic to talk about in pickleball today as well. Webby, you've brought this up to me before, and this is a concept that I think a lot of us have probably dealt with as we've gone down the pickleball journey. That is one of overcoaching. What does that mean to you, Webby?
So what that is when somebody constantly critiques every single mistake somebody makes, whether they want to be critiqued or not. Now, in the past, we talked about different people that we encounter while playing. And one of those people that we talked about are people that refuse to be critiqued. If anybody says one thing negative, they yell or just get angry. And today we're talking about somebody pretty much the exact opposite, people that over-coach or over-critique. And what I mean by that is just they will constantly tell people when they are doing something wrong. It doesn't matter if it's an experienced player or a brand new player. They'll constantly point out things that they're doing wrong. And I myself appreciate that. So anytime I mess up, I really appreciate when somebody will point it out and tell me what I can do to get better. But you've got to know your audience. Some people just really aren't up for that kind of thing. Some people just want to play for fun and they don't care if they get better. And there's some people that just don't. It's almost like they don't quite realize what they're doing sometimes, I think, and they just constantly, they're trying to help, but sometimes it can come across as being a little bit too much.
Yeah, I definitely have experienced that before. Recently, I had a situation where me and my partner were playing against two of probably the best pickleball players in our community. And as we were playing, I was trying to hit the shots that I wanted to hit. They just weren't coming together. And my partner, he borders that overcoaching kind of personality a little bit. And he kept saying, oh, here's a shot you want to play. You want to play this. You want to play this, right? And I knew exactly what to play. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because of the way that they were placing the ball and they were moving me around. And I got extremely frustrated to the point where I asked him, please stop. That didn't come from a place of I don't want to learn. I love getting feedback when I'm out there in the pickleball court. In fact, I'm probably the annoying guy that keeps asking people for feedback on how I can improve. But at the same point, it got to a point where it was extremely excessive. And I honestly don't think it came from a place of he wanted to help me. I think it came from a place of he wanted to feel better about himself. And so he felt by coaching me was going to continue to make him seem smart or seem better. Have you ever experienced that before?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are certain places that I play where it's almost like they're pickleball snobs. And it does come across as them not wanting to really help you, but almost to make you look inferior.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And again, I think it kind of hurts because when I go out to play, I want to have fun. I want to learn, but I don't want to sit there and be constantly bombarded with feedback, especially when it's not even something relevant or maybe I know what to do. I'm just having a hard time doing it. And it's like telling me what to do is not going to help at that point.
Yeah, and one thing I think that could help remedy that for those that love coaching others and giving tips and pointers is maybe just feel it out. Like ask the person, do you care if I give you pointers as we go to help you improve? And just see what they say. Some people might be totally accepting of it and welcome it with open arms, but then others might be like, nah, I'm good. I'm just here to play. I know how to play already. I just want to play. I don't care about getting feedback. So I feel like if something like that happens, it could help a lot of tension, it could help prevent a lot of tension. Yeah. Because I've seen times where people got noticeably frustrated about the overcoaching that was happening.
So you brought up a good point, and that's if you want to provide coaching to someone, how you should address it to maybe ease some tension or avoid tension. What about if you're the person that's getting overcoached? I know in my situation, I didn't handle it well because I kind of lashed out at him, like, back off, man. And that probably wasn't good either. Do you have any advice for people like me to maybe help with the person that's overcoaching you to kind of back off a little bit, but do it in a nice way?
Yeah, I feel like that might be tough to deal with, but I think if I was in that situation, I'd probably just say, like, hey, man, I appreciate the feedback, but now's not really the time or place. I just want to play as much as I can, or something. I don't know. That could be a tough situation to handle. Like, it might be tough to handle in a nice way. In most cases, when you say something, it's probably going to come off negative, but I don't know, maybe just like what I was saying, say, I appreciate the feedback, but don't want to hear it anymore, so shut your face or something. I don't know. I really don't know a nice way to say it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's there's going to be conflict. Unfortunately, it's just kind of what happens, but this has been a great conversation. I actually learned a lot from this too, and I hope you guys did as well. So thank you for that, Webby.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
What?
I think that's the show.
What? Already?
I know. Already. I feel like we just got started, but I'm super excited. This was episode number 10, which means there are still 10 of you out there, and we appreciate all 10 of you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 10 of you.
We've doubled the number from episode number 5. All right.
Yes. So we're still episode 10 on our way to 50. We're super excited about that. As always, we love feedback. So go ahead and throw it in the comments below. If there's any beers you want us to review, throw it below. If there's any products you want us to talk about or any tech topics, throw it below. If there's any pickleball topics, throw it below. Or download the Anchor app and leave us a voice message. If you have a question, if you have feedback, leave it, because it's very likely we're going to play it on a podcast, and it's going to be a really good time to interact more with you guys. So we really hope that you take us up on that.
Yep, and don't forget, if you're a YouTube viewer, leave a comment below of your favorite beer. And like Eddie said, if you're an Anchor or audio listener, send us a message. That's how you get in the running to win a hoodie.
Whoa! Hey! Oh! Yeah. As always, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, both at Eddie and Webby. I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.
Hold on. Pickleball.